This is Vanessa Arruti, and I am doing a video, I guess, journal of my geometry measurement journal number 5. So I chose this section on geometry for trigonometry, and I got my information from the Annenberg Learning. Wrong slide. And so if you take a look, I drew the pictures here. We have our original figure, which is measurements of 3, 4, and 5, and then we have three other figures, three other triangles that we are finding the missing length for the triangle, and they specifically ask for triangle A, or a side length of A. So basically what they're teaching us, or what we're supposed to do, is set up a proportion to solve for A using the original triangle. So I set up my proportions depending on the side length and the corresponding side to the similar figure. I solved and I got my answers. Upon reflection, when I teach this in my classroom, many times students confuse how to set up their proportions, and they don't set up their equal sides to each other. So they'll use different sides. They'll see, oh, I have a side length here, and they'll just grab another length that is not a corresponding side. And I have seen this for middle school students, but also I've seen this from some of my high school students when I taught high school. So what throws them off the most is when you have triangles that are rotated, or especially what I've seen throws them off tremendously is when you have a triangle inscribed in another. And so I drew a little picture of when you have an inscribed triangle. It's difficult for students to pull the two triangles apart and realize that they're similar figures. And then for my measurement part of this journal, I did indirect measurement with transit, and so we had, again, triangles, similar figures, but this time we're using indirect measurement for proportionality. And we have tree height, and then your friend's height, because your friend's doing this, and then you have a mirror in the middle of the two. So, I don't think I actually solved this one out, but I did see that they wanted us to use sine, cosine, tangent. So on my reflection, I remember using SOHCAHTOA, and it was difficult for students as they do not see the relationship and cannot figure out how to set up the proportions. This seems to be a recurring factor. So I know when I was in geometry in high school, it took me a very, very long time to understand opposite and adjacent, and how it changed depending on how you were solving the problem. It was difficult for me to see that every time we were doing a problem, it wasn't a concrete, this is the opposite always, this is the adjacent always. So finally my teacher had to explain it in a way where I had to be in the picture, and I placed myself on the angle, and I was talking about to literally see what was going on and how to set up and solve the problem. So that did help me. Okay, well, thank you, and this was my journal number 5.